Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. So, let us start with the Mangalacharan prayers. And then today we will continue with our Canto 1, Chapter 5. We'll go over some more nice verses. So, let me share my screen. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya
Jnana-salakya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah.
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namahom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. We will recite the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. You can unmute if you would like and recite it with me. So let us start with the three times. Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratashchathe vigyaswarat.
Janmadhyasya Arthesvabhigyansvara
Tene Brahma Hridayadikavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya.
Tene Brahmadikavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya
Parimridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha.
Tejovarimridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrita
Amna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi.
Amna Svena Sada Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi.
Okay, now let's recite the three invocation verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I will share my screen. Okay. Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udira
Vyasam
Devīṃ sarasvatīṃ vyāsam
मुदीरयेत्
ततो
ततो
जयमुदीरयेत्
कायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टायेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं
भागवत
भागवतसेवया
भगवति लोके
भगवतोत्तम श्लोके
श्लोके
भक्ति भवति नैष्ठिकी
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिके
भक्तिर्भवति
देवाय
कृष्णाय देवाय
वासुदेवाय
देवकी नंदनाय च
देवकी
नंदगोपाय
नंदनाय
गोविन्दाय
गोविन्दाय
नमो
नमः
नमः
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
Okay, good. So, let me share. I need to join from here. Give me 1 second. I need to join from my iPad. Once. Okay. Where is share screen? Okay, good. What's going on? All right. Okay, good. So, quick recap from where we were. So, we are in the 5th chapter of, so let me share, and this is a very important verse. So, let me see if I can. So, we are in Canto 1, Chapter 5 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, I hope you all can see the screen, the iPad screen. Can somebody say thumbs up? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Nārada Munī or Krishna Dvaipayana Vedavyas Maharaj, who has composed Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, Mansi Ganga Mataji, did you have a question? You raised your hand. Oh, probably by mistake. Okay. So, he has composed all the Vedas. He has composed all the Puranas. He has composed Mahabharata. And after doing all this humongous Herculean task, and then he created a whole system of understanding the Vedas, the Puranas, everything, he still felt a little emptiness in his heart. And when he felt this emptiness in his heart, then he sat down to meditate, and his guru, who is the guru of Vedavyas Maharshi, it is Nārada Munī. Yes. So he appears and he begins to, Maharshi Vedavyas asks him, what is the reason for the feeling of emptiness in my heart? Why am I feeling empty after doing such a Herculean task for the benefit of all humanity for many, many generations to come. For the next thousands and thousands of years, all these Vedas and Puranas and all have been put into written form so that people can take advantage. But still, I am feeling empty in my heart. So he was successful in completing his life's mission, but still he was feeling empty. So then Nārada Munī begins to tell him that what you have done is great, but what you have still not done is to fully glorify the lilas of Lord Shri Krishna and the position of Lord Shri Krishna. So two things. Now, this is not exactly mentioned, but this will come later. But it is the position of Lord Shri Krishna first. And the second is all the lilas. Now, I will mention all the lilas of Lord Shri Krishna. Now, when we say all, don't take it too literally. Today's class of Srimad Bhagavatam that we are doing is going to be connected to tomorrow's class on Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So I know there may be many difficulties, but if possible, attend both. And someday when Krishna desires, I will upload all the videos. I have them. I'm just too swamped with work. There is no other reason why it has not been uploaded. So soon I will do that as time permits. So forgive me, please, for that. But if possible, attend tomorrow's session. We will go into a little bit more detail on the connection with today's class. But all, so again, don't take this all as literally. What it means is all the rasas, in all the moods, in all the bhavas, Lord Krishna has fully made himself understood through Srimad Bhagavatam. So Maharshi Vedvyas has explained this in great detail of who is Lord Krishna and in what all ways does he interact with his devotees. No rasa is left, absolutely nothing. Even those who are very envious of Lord Shri Krishna, it is shown how they interact with him. Can anybody, I'm just a quiz question, pop quiz. In the previous Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu classes, there is one specific example that is taken. Who is that? Who has interacted with Lord Shri Krishna in a very envious way? The prime example given in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Kamsa.
Shishupal. Kamsa also, but even more so, it is Shishupal. Okay, Kamsa did not. What is the difference between Kamsa and Shishupal? See, Kamsa only began his process of hatred for Krishna after hearing Akashvani during the marriage of his sister Devaki with Vasudeva. Right? You know the story. Shishupal, right from his birth, he had hatred sowed in his heart. And again, there is history behind it. But he had hatred sown in his heart for Lord Shri. Even when he was a small child, but the beauty is that his hatred was very strong. What is the right word? I challenge you to have that kind of hatred for Krishna or for anybody in your whole life. There may be some daughter-in-law who may have some, doesn't like her mother-in-law, or there may be some employee who doesn't like his boss, or there may be some person who doesn't like his neighbor. But your dislike for this other person cannot parallel the dislike that Shishupal had for Krishna. And he was so intensely disliking of Shri Krishna. Even when he was doing anything, even when he was eating, he would see, oh, what I'm eating, is Krishna there in it? I hope, if he would see Krishna in his food, he would reject the food. Get me another new plate of food because I saw Krishna in the food. So like this, he would have this extreme hatred for Krishna, but all the time he was focused on Krishna. Even in that mood, Krishna reciprocated with him. Anyway, I went too much into detail. So today I want to complete sort of one section of this portion of Srimad Bhagavatam, but explaining the position of the Lord. And tomorrow we will go into a little bit of a deeper topic, which is Lord Krishna's interaction with the gopis. Very, very confidential. Confidential means not like a secret. It's not confidential in that sense. Very hard to understand. Very deep concept of the rasa between Krishna and the gopis, especially the married gopis. The gopis who are married but still have a loving relationship, madhurya bhav towards Krishna. So all the rasas have been explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So kindly mute yourself. Somebody is unmute. You can unmute whenever you want to say something. So in this particular verse, Nārada Munī is saying that, you see here, samadhi anusmara tad vicheshtitam, that go in your samadhi, inquire in your heart in the state of samadhi, and Lord Shri Krishna will reveal all his lilas, and you just write it down. And that is what that is what Vyāsadeva does, and is able to compose the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the instruction that he's being given by Nārada Munī. So now we had covered up to this point, 13th verse. Now let us go forward with the 14th verse. A lot of very nice instructions are coming up. So the 14th verse. So once again, so the instruction in the 13th verse is to glorify the pastimes of the Lord. The tad vicheshtitam. Vicheshtitam means the lilas, the cheshta. Cheshta means the activities. When we say we do cheshta, we call it try. But when Krishna does cheshta, it is not any trying. It is his activities, the outcome of his trying, you can say. But tad means of the Lord, tad vicheshtitam. Now, in the 14th verse, it will be described that the consequence of not doing so. Of not doing so. And so means what? To describe the lilas of Shri Krishna. So what is the consequence of not describing the lilas of Shri Krishna? So here Nārada Munī is speaking, and he is continuing to give instructions to Vyāsadeva. So he says, Tato anyatha kinchin yad vivikshataha prithak drishas tatkrita rupa namabhihi na karhichit kvapicha dusthita matir labhet vatahata naur ivaspadam. So what is the meaning of it? That tato anyatha kinchan yad vivakshataha, that with the desire to describe anyatha, something else other than these pastimes. So, yeah. So anyatha, tato anyatha kinchana yad vivakshataha. Vivakshata means to describe. So something else, anyatha. What happens? Prithak drishas tat krita rupa namabhi. And prithak drishas, that is coming from somewhere else. So where is it coming from? From mental speculation. So, or you can say imagination. So where is Nārada Munī asking Vyāsadeva to look into his heart in the state of samadhi? So when he is in the state of samadhi, then all the pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna will be revealed in the heart of Vyāsadeva, and that should be written down. But not when somebody is doing some mental speculation, some imagination, so all that is the wrong way or the incorrect way to understand the pastimes of the Lord. So even the acharyas, the the various great devotees that have come after Vyāsadeva, like Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they have also written Jiva Goswami, great commentaries on and great pastimes, wonderful pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. They have all gotten those are different from Bhagavatam. They have got through this process of samadhi. They see those pastimes in their heart and they write it, not by mental speculation or by imagination. Okay, and Tat Krita Rupa Namabhi, whatever they may have the name and Rupa of the Lord, but it should never come out of mental speculation. Because why? That does not do any good. Na karhichit kwapicha dusthita matir. What it does otherwise, dusthita matir, it deviates the mind. Dusthita. Sthita means situated. Dusthita means it wrongly situates the mind. Just like how labheta vatahata naur ivaspadam, that there is no labh, there is only like a negative, there is negative gain. Naur ivaspadam, and or a vatahata, now means a boat. Like a boat which is in a very windy situation, it never reaches its destination, it never is stable, it is not properly situated. So these imaginary pastimes of the Lord simply disturb the mind. So one should not focus on those pastimes, or that is what the instruction that Nārada Munī is giving. Don't write pastimes from your imagination, write it from your state of samadhi. So the instruction for us, obviously Vyāsadeva will not do that. The instruction for us is that we cannot just say, oh, I imagined this pastime, now I'm writing a book. Only those who are very great saints, very great acharyas, who can look in their heart and they come up with the pastimes, they become the bona fide pastimes, and we should accept those pastimes. So, for example, Jiva Goswami has written a very, very elaborate work on the detailed pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. The name is Gopala Champu. Okay, so Champu means detailed pastimes. So Gopal Champu means detailed pastimes of Lord Sri Gopal. So very, very beautiful work like that exists. Sri Sanatana Goswami has written something known as Krishna Lila Stava. Again, it's a much shorter work, but he has taken he has composed one verse for every pastime of Lord Krishna. And in that one verse, he has given the essence of that pastime, of that Lila. So one Lila, one verse. So it's a short work, but it is very deep. Similarly, Sri Rupa Goswami has composed a work called Laghu Bhagvatamrta, where he has given many pastimes of various incarnations of Lord Sri Krishna. Another very important work by Sri Sanatana Goswami is Brhad Bhagavatamrta, where he has given alternate pastimes of other pastimes that he says occurred in different days of Lord Brahma. Lord Krishna appears once in every day of Brahmaji. So in other times when Lord Krishna appeared, the pastimes, the lilas occurred in slightly different ways. So he has shared those lilas. He saw those lilas in his samadhi and he is writing those down. So all these are wonderful things to be written, to be read. But the first step should be to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyway, we are going very slowly in Srimad Bhagavatam, but there is no rush. We will go fast, we will go slow. I have no desire to rush and complete it or reach any particular milestone. The idea is to relish wherever we go, and I'm not committed to any particular sequence. Once we complete this story, we might jump to some other story. We will see. Okay. All right. Now comes a very, very important verse. This 15th verse is very, very important. So it shows the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. And on the other hand, it shows the sort of the disservice done so far by Vyāsadeva. He is actually, Nārada Munī is saying, you have actually done a disservice. How you have done a disservice? So let us read this verse. Okay. Jugupsitam dharma krite na krite anushasataha. So the anushasata, this apostrophe here is saying anushasataha. Swabhava raktasya mahan vyatikramaha. Yad vyakyato dharma iti tarah sthito na manyate tasya nivaranam janaha. So what is the meaning of this? That what you have done, jugupsitam means a lower level. A lower level of dharma, krite anushasataha, you have established. Anushasan karna means like to establish or to govern. That is the meaning of anushasan. So what he's saying is that basically by writing all these other literatures, what you have established is a lower level of dharma, is what you have established. That lower level of dharma is basically the Varnashrama Dharma. That, and you all know Varnashrama Dharma means, here is what Brahmanas should do, here is what Kshatriyas should do, here is what Vaishyas should do, Shudras should do, Sannyasis, Vanaprasthas, Grihasthas, Brahmacharis. You have given the social order and what all you should do, the various Vedic sacrifices, living your life of dharma, etc. So that is what you have done through all the Vedas, Puranas, etc., etc. You have not fully glorified Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti. That is what you have not done. So let us see what is the result of that, or the consequence of that. Swabhava raktasya mahan vyatikramaha. So swabhava raktasya means that people are naturally inclined to sense gratification. People want to see sense gratification everywhere. If you tell them that here is how you can do sense gratification, they will easily take to it. So basically what you have done by Varnashrama Dharma is sense gratification only. That will come little later, that here is how in a legal way, in a dharmic way, you can go to Swarga, you can go to higher planets, you can enjoy for a long time, and you can get all this enjoyment, etc., etc. And you will be very happy. That is what you have established. Okay, so Mahan Vyatikramaha, you have created a great problem. Why? Because you have established this as the dharma, and it will come in the next two lines. That, so the third line is Yad Vakyato Dharma iti tarah sthito. Your Vakya, your statements will be taken as very strongly by the people, because in the future people will respect you. You are Vyāsadeva. And whatever you have written, people will take it as the law. Your books will be the law books. And if your law books are saying that Varnashrama is the best, then basically you are selling those people a sort of a lower level of realization, a lower level of dharma you are telling them. And na manyate tasya nivaranam janaha. And nivarana, you know the meaning of nivarana means remedy. So any means of remedy from this sense gratification, which may be told elsewhere, will not be accepted by the people unless you write it. So people will consider you a very, very important authority in the matter of religion, in the matter of dharma. And if you don't say that the topmost dharma is bhakti, then people will not accept if anybody else comes and says that the topmost thing is bhakti. Are you following? So you only please establish that bhakti is the topmost, then people will believe you. Otherwise, people will reject anybody else and will only consider Varnashram to be the topmost. So that is the problem with what you have done. So Nārada Munī is saying, I beseech you, I am urging you to glorify bhakti as the topmost, because that is the topmost dharma for all people. Okay. So that is the 15th verse. So it is showing the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, now there is bhakti in the other Puranas as well. There is, but it is hidden, or it is not glorified as much. The percentage wise, the bhakti is very little. So if you read a whole Purana, let's say Padma Purana or any other Purana, Vishnu Purana, you will understand that you should worship the Lord because he is very great, and out of fear you worship him, so that some bad thing does not happen to you. Now, isn't that one kind of sense gratification, that you are looking out for your good, for your benefit? That is sense gratification. Sense gratification does not only mean going to a bar or a nightclub. That is very extreme or a very gross kind of sense gratification. Even trying to live a legally happy life is also one kind of sense gratification. That is what is being promoted in all the other scriptures. So in text 16, Sri Nārada Munī is giving the solution that you, in the last line, Tato Bhavan Darshaya Cheshtitam Vibho. That you, Cheshtitam, again we said, are the lilas. So you should, in a very detailed way, you should explain or show, drishya, you should show the detailed lilas of the Lord. So it says that Vichakshano yasya arhati veditum vibhor, that intelligent people can find out those hidden portions from the various Vedas and other scriptures and Puranas. But what about the common masses? Okay. Ananta parasya nivrittita sukham pravartamanasya gunair anatmanas. So anatmanas, this anatmanas means the ordinary people. So what about the ordinary people? They will not be able to go and extract those deeper meanings from all the other works. Okay. And that deeper understanding, ananta parasya, and the joy, the relishment out of that, nivritti sukham, will be, they will not have access. The ordinary people will not be able to get access to this deeper understanding. Therefore, tato, therefore, bhavan darshaya cheshtitam vibho. Vibho means of Lord Sri Krishna. So therefore, you must in detail describe or show all the lilas of Lord Sri Krishna. Okay. So next, 17. This is also a very, very important verse, and we will go into this. Oh, so there are a lot of notes that I had written for a couple of previous verses. I'll cover it as part of this 17th verse. Okay. So very important verse. This is showing that there is no fault or sin accrued by giving up Varnashrama. And instead, this is very important, instead, it's not like, okay, you give up Varnashram if you are following it, and you don't even take up Krishna Bhakti. Na idhar ke, na udhar ke. So that should not be the case, okay? Even if your Varnashrama Dharma is a good thing, at least it will make you a pious person, a mode of goodness person, and you can go up in the, in the cycle of birth and death. You can go to higher species at least. One day you will come down back again, but at least you will be situated in the mode of goodness. So, but it is perfectly okay to give it up and instead take up Krishna Bhakti. Okay. So completely giving up Varnashram is perfectly okay. There is no fault in it. There is no sin accrued in it. So let us see this verse and we will discuss some more things. So the first word itself is tyaktva. Tyaktva means to give up. Remember the verse tyaktva deham punarjanma in Bhagavad Gita. So there you are giving up deha, but here you are saying tyaktva swadharmam. So swadharmam means varnashrama. So even if you have given up varnashrama, but what you have taken up, charanambujam harer. Charana ambuja means that you have taken up the shelter of the lotus feet. Charana ambuja. Ambuja is lotus. So the lotus feet of Hari. If you have taken the shelter of the lotus feet of Hari, and you have tyaktva swadharmam, and you have given up your Varnashrama Dharma, and what you are doing? Bhajan. You are doing bhajan of Shri Hari. Now here is the thing. Even if you fall down, okay, patet, tato yadi. Yadi means if. If you fall down, and very nice word is that, apakvo. Apakvo, jaise pak. Pak means to, it is mature, ripe, phal. Paka hua phal we say. Paka hua phal means a ripe fruit. Apakvo means a raw fruit which has not ripened. Are you following? So even if your bhakti has not ripened, okay, and you deviate from it, and you fall down or you die, in this life you could not complete your bhakti. There is no problem with that. He says that, yatra kva abhadram abhuta amanushya kim. It's a rhetorical question. What is the abhadram? What is the problem? Abhadra means any problem or any inauspiciousness or any fault. There is no fault in it. And then he asks another rhetorical question. On the contrary, ko vartha apto abhajatam. You see this apostrophe? It is abhajatam swa dharmataha. You did not do any bhajan of Shri Krishna, but you followed your swadharma very nicely and never fell down from following your Varnashram Dharma. You followed it very perfectly, but you did not do any Krishna Bhajan. What is the use of such a life? So the point being made is that it is much better to perform Krishna Bhajan and even fall down, or we can say remain unsuccessful, versus or compared to performing Varnashram Dharma and be successful. Are you following? So if you perform Varnashram Dharma and be successful, what's the use? Better to perform Krishna Bhakti, and if you be successful, perfect, then there's no problem. But even if you are unsuccessful, that is better. So let us have some discussion on this point. Why do you think this is the case? There is a very sweet and nice answer to this question. Yes, Shyamlila Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 6, Bhagavan says that even if you are unsuccessful, in the next life you will be, born into a family that is pious, so that is aristocracy. So you can pick up right where you left off. Versus in the second case, the results will be temporary. Like there's no picking up where you left off that way. So bhakti will remain, but this will not.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else would like to share something? So first, let me clarify. What do we mean? So let me change the question for just a second. When I say Varnashrama Dharma, what are the examples of this? What do you mean by it? When Sri Vyāsadeva is saying, or Nārada Munī is saying, there is no fault accrued in giving up Varnashrama Dharma. You see this, what I have written here? So what is being said as giving up? What should you give up? Or there is no fault in giving up what?
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga. Okay, what does it mean? Practically, like today in 2023, or in your present life in the 2000s, what does it mean? How do you perform Karma Yoga today? It's not a theoretical discussion, it's practical.
So, Prabhuji, like your job, material activities you do to feed yourself and the family.
Okay, fine. Let us hear from somebody else. That's one opinion or one understanding.
Sir, giving up of the fruits of the activities, basically.
How do you give up the fruits of your activity? Be a little more practical, or more, not practical, but vivid.
So, I mean, you take examples of a mother cooking for her children, and the only thing that she thinks is that I have to cook the best food. So maybe you are not doing it for Krishna at this point of time. You're not into bhakti mode, but you are still.
A mother taking very nice care of her child is Varnashrama. Probably that's what you are saying.
Sir, Varnashrama means 4 Varnas: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra.
And 4
so
are
all
Sannyas, Ganaprastha, Grihastha, and Brahmachari. So these are the 4 plus 4 Varnashram. Okay.
So each of the Varnas have their duties or rights prescribed. Like the Kshatriyas are the warrior class. They would need to fight, protect. The Brahmans are priestly class. The Vaishyas are business people. And Shudras are worker class. So all the 4 are duties, rights are prescribed. So Vyas, by putting emphasis on Varnashram, he put, because all these Varnashrams are linked with the materialistic part of life. They do not, only the Brahmins, the priestly class, have the prime motive of worship, rituals, etc. All the other 3 were made dependent on the Brahmins for worship, rituals. That's what I think, sir.
Okay, very good. Anybody else wants to say something? Then we'll continue. One more devotee wants to say something. And you can raise your hand so that you don't speak on top of each other. Yeah, so, okay, let me share some of my thoughts. And kindly mute. So, Varnashrama Dharma means, like some devotees said, the various rituals that we do, but main intent is our protection or our benefit. So you may be going to the temple, or you may be, doing some worship of the Lord, but the main intention is our benefit our protection. May I be healthy, may my family be healthy, may good things happen in my life. Or not even going to the temple, but helping some poor people, feeding them. When you're feeding the poor people, the intention is that may poverty never come in my life. So doing some dan, some activity. One very common thing that, for example, like many women do is this praying for their husband's long life. What is that called? Karwa Chauth. That, you pray for husband's long life. So what do you get? You're getting a husband's association, or that, your husband will be there with you for the whole life. Ultimately, it is also something material. So all these things, or like somebody said, just doing your work with a dharmic mindset, no cheating, no corruption, no anything, doing everything properly. That is also Varnashram. And yes, there are these things that Brahmanas do this. So, imparting education, protecting the dharma, protecting all for Kshatriyas. So all these activities for material development of society, material development, social development, economic development for the whole society, including ourselves, our family, etc. That whole thing is called Varnashrama Dharma. So now comes the next question. So what Vyāsadeva is saying basically is that there is no fault in giving up these duties. Instead, if one takes up Krishna Bhakti. So what is the difference between these two? Why is it being said? Why do you think?
Because bhakti is supreme, as you have explained earlier. Narada has said that Bhakti Devi is very necessary for the present era.
No, but you are just stating the statement again, that it is supreme, it is necessary. I am asking why. Okay, Shalu Mataji, go ahead.
Prabhuji, I was thinking that maybe we have to let go of our fear of this world, that what is going to happen to us or society, and just love Krishna and have faith in him, and not thinking about the current situations and things like that.
But again, the question is why?
Because we consider ourselves as part of Krishna. We do not consider ourselves part of this world that is going around, the current relationships and current scenarios.
Okay.
Maybe above that.
Okay, fine. Shamila Mataji, you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhuji, because Krishna says that he will take care of us. Sarva dharmam parityajya mam ekam sharanam praja. So he has directly said that he would take care of us if we can come into it.
Okay, very good.
And Prabhuji, one more, yat karoshi yashnashi yajyoshi dadasi yat yat tapasesi kaunteya. मतलब भगवत गीता में भी उन्होंने कई बार ये चीज बोली है.
Yes. So many of you are very close to the point. Okay. Now here is the answer. You came very close to it. Let me share through the Bhagavad Gita itself. So where is the browser? All right. So somebody, Bhagavad Gita, somebody quoted, or Prasun Prabhu quoted 9th chapter, 27th verse, Yad Karoshi Yad Ashnashi. Okay, so let's go to 27th verse. Okay, so whatever you do, Tad Kurushva Mad Arpanam, do it as an offering to me. That is what he stated. He just missed the mark by one verse. So let us see what is the result of that. Here is the answer. So what will happen is that it is true, Shubha Ashubha Phalaireva Mokshase Karma Bandhanai Sannyasa Yoga Yukta Atma Vimukto. All this is fine. Last word is the most important. Mam Upaishyasi. You will come to me. So the answer is same thing also in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter. Shamlila Mataji quoted Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja in that verse 66, all he's saying is, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami. I will remove all your sinful reactions. The result of removing all sinful reactions is what? Now, without going into a lot of the theory, it is clearly given in just the previous verse. Mam evaishyasi. If you see here. Yeah, Mam evaishyasi. You will come to me. Man manah bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evaishyasi. Satyam te, मैं सच बोल रहा हूं, झूठ नहीं बोल रहा हूं. Lord Krishna is trying to convince Arjun that he's speaking the truth. He was Makhan Chor and he did all these things. So people may think that, maybe he's again, pulling a trick. This time he's saying, I'm telling the truth. I'm not telling lies, like he said, main nahi makhan khayo. Even though he had eaten the butter, this time he's saying, I'm telling the truth. Because you are very dear to me. Pratijane priyosimi. So, Mam evashyasi. So, by doing Varnashrama, what will happen? The highest thing by doing Varnashram is you will go to Swargaloka. And then what happens? You come back. Okay? You keep going to Swargaloka, you keep coming back. You keep going to Swargaloka, you keep coming back. You are always in this cycle. And one of the, I think Sharmila Mataji used the word that it is temporary, but she didn't kind of pinpoint it. She kind of glossed over it. That is the main point. All the benefits of doing Varnashrama are temporary. Whereas by doing Krishna Bhakti, the result is permanent. And that is why Nārada Munī is telling that Varnashrama is inferior and Krishna Bhakti is superior. So this will come up in the next verse. Okay. So let us see the 18th verse. Now, there are a lot of things actually. I'm sorry, I'm skipping on many of these beautiful points. The idea is to go through in detail. So, what are some examples? Shalu Mataji, did you have a question? You're raising your hand. Okay. So, what are some examples where that you can recall from Bhagavatam about this? That devotees, even if they were unsuccessful, there was no harm. There are two very strong examples of this. Yes, Shyamlila Mataji, go ahead.
Prabhuji, a Jamil, like he fell down, but in his last, he was able to take the name of Narayan, even though he was like naming his son. Okay. But still, because he had done like bhakti before falling down. So Bhagwan sort of protected him over there.
Nice example, but that is not clearly coming out it is not stated that he did Krishna Bhakti. Okay? That's not clearly stated.
Prabhuji?
One second. He had taken the name, and the intent of a Jamil pastime is to show the power of the holy name. Okay, so but that's a nice example. There are stronger examples. Yes.
Nārada Munī in his previous life?
Yes, that is actually what is coming up. So you are spot on. Yes, that's the one of the right answers. And this is exactly the reason. Today, hopefully, we will complete this section. And in the next time, Nārada Munī, in fact, will start telling his own story right after this section. The next section of this remaining chapter, 5th chapter, will be exactly that. That he will say, now I will tell you my own story of how this, whatever I'm telling you is the truth. So very nice. Other examples? So if you may not remember, there is the story of Bharat Maharaj, right? So he had done very strong bhakti, but he fell down. He got deviated. How he got deviated? He got attached to a deer. And then fine, but there is no problem. He got a body of deer, and then again he got the body of Jada Bharat, and he went back to spiritual world. Another very Yes, Shamila Mataji, you had your hand raised, or should I lower it?
No, Prabhuji, it was from before, but I also remembered Vritrasura.
Very nice, Vritrasura. That's the other very important example. Chitraketu Maharaj, if you know, he committed a small offense to Lord Shiva, and he got cursed to take the body of a demon. So the thing to note here is that when one is falling down, where it is patet, you see this word here, patet. Fall down, literally he fell down from the body of Chitraketu Maharaj, who was a Gandharva. He got the position of a Gandharva. He became an Asura. Similarly, what is that? Bharat Maharaj. He got a lower body. What was the lower body? Of a deer, isn't it? So they actually literally body-wise itself, they fell down. But there was no harm, there was no problem in that. They went back in the next life. As Vritrasura, he got killed by Indra, but he went straight to Vaikuntha Lok. So that is the situation. Okay. All right. So two of those examples are there. No, it is not. So my wife is asking a question, how does it show that they gave up Varnashrama? So, of course, I mean, Bharat Maharaj, when he was very young, it is said, and this also we will cover tomorrow in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu discussion a little bit, that when he gave up his kingdom, his wife, his relatives, all those things, he was a Kshatriya. He could have ruled the kingdom for much longer and maintained whatever, done his. So he gave up his Kshatriya Varnashram very clearly and went into the forest for doing Krishna Bhakti. Okay. All right. Let me see what are the other points. So in the previous verses, there were a couple of points that were being made. In the 15th verse, if you remember, it is mentioned that this whole Varnashrama Dharma, and let's just stay on the 17th one. So this Varnashram, the inferiority of Varnashrama is shown here. So even when we are trying to become good bhakta of Lord Shri Krishna, and in all our preaching efforts or all our efforts to spread Krishna consciousness to other people, we should focus maximum on Krishna Bhakti. Sometimes it happens that we begin to focus on some of the Varnashram aspects. What are some of the Varnashram aspects? Varnashram aspects like become vegetarian, kill the. Now, for some people, that may be a starting point. Kindly mute yourself, someone. Okay. So that may be a starting point, but that is not the main message. If that is something that we are focusing on, or there may be other things also, like worshipping the demigods, the Devis and Devatas, or maybe, in many temples I have seen some dance classes, music classes, learning Sanskrit. Now, if learning Sanskrit is there so that you can read the Shastra, that is fine. But just learning a language which is our culture, so attachment to our culture is also Varnashrama. All these things are not important, and our human life is very short. It's not that we are going to live for 10,000 years. So there is no, one should not waste his time in doing all these activities. One should very quickly come to Krishna Bhakti, because our lives are very short and it takes time for this fruit, like it has been mentioned here, to mature, to ripen. A mango doesn't ripen overnight. It takes a whole season. Similarly, our heart, our human existence takes time to mature in our Krishna Bhakti. So there is absolutely no time to waste. So that is the message. That is one important thing to internalize. Okay, let us go to verse number 18. Okay, so here we get the answer. So the question I asked as to, yes, Prasun Prabhu, do you have your hand raised for some reason or from before? Probably from before. I will lower it. Also, there is something in the chat. Let me see one sec. Okay, Mansi Ganga Mataji has a question. In recent class, we had seen that our devotional service to Krishna will instantly remove the sin. Yes, and that is correct. And also removes the intent for future sinful propensity. That is also correct. Right, Prabhuji? Yes, that is correct. Yes, that is correct. Okay. So, let us see, verse number 18 gives the answer to the question. Answer as to why Varnashrama is at lower level. That is the answer that we get in this verse. Tasyaiva hetoh prayateta kovido na labhyate yat brahmatam uparya adha tal labhyate sukhavad anyatah sukham kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. So, tasyaiva hetoh prayateta kovido. Kovido means a intelligent person, a wise person. So, prayateta. Prayateta means the root word is like prayatna, or one should try for. What should one try for? So, one who is intelligent, one should try for what kind of heta? Hetu means benefit. Some kind of benefit. What kind of benefit he should try for? Na labhyate yad brahmatam uparya adha. Uparya adha. Uparya adha means up and down. Uparya, upar. Adha means niche. So by moving up and down in the cycle of birth and death, or in this universe, one keeps going up and down, sometimes in Swargalok, sometimes on earth, sometimes in Narkalok. One is going up and down, up and down, up and down. What is the benefit of doing that? Na labhyate yad brahmatam. Brahmatam means wandering. So one should try for a benefit which is not obtainable simply by going up and down, because it is temporary. So the implication is that because it is temporary. Okay. And very important, tal labhyate dukhavad anyatah sukham. This is a very important, very, interesting line. What it is saying is that the sukha that you get now, do you all agree Swarga is full of sukha? Would you like to go to Swarga? Lakshmi Prasad Prabhu? Nice, isn't it?
It's nice, Prabhuji.
So what are the advantages? Let me tell you. So what it says is that tal labhyate dukhavad anyatah sukham. This sukha is actually sukha. Sukha is the wrapper. Inside there is dukha only. So only it is like a, false marketing campaign. You are sold something very nice, like, the HR people, they recruit you. They will show you, our company is very nice. We get free lunch, free tea, coffee, free this, free that, bonus. When you actually join, then you realize that your boss is a very, very tough boss. So all the free tea, coffee, lunch is was just, useless. Your life is miserable. So very nice example, and I will share this example tomorrow also in the class. When you go to Swarga, it is said that what are the benefits? The free lunch. The free lunch is you don't get old body. Anybody wants to become old? You cannot hear, so many problems. You cannot walk properly. Old age is very tough. You don't have any diseases, no disease, no cancer, no anything, no heart problems, no, stroke, heart attack, nothing. Plus, no relationship problems. You have nice relationship with everyone, your husband, wife, whatever. Everybody is very nice. Would you like that? No hunger, opulent things to eat, no indigestion if you eat more. But there is a problem. Everybody who goes to Swarga is given a garland. Okay? And what is the garland doing? So when it is time for you to leave Swarga, you know what happens? Anybody knows? You are laughing, Shalom.
The garland gets dried up.
It begins to dry. It begins to fade away. Okay? So it is said that in Swarga, everybody is in constant anxiety and they are comparing their garland. Is it drying up? Is it drying up? Every morning when they wake up, they see, oh, did my garland fade today? There's so much because they are attached to this wonderful life. They don't want to give it up. And there is constant anxiety on their head that is my garland fading? Is my garland drying up? And they are consumed. All this happiness is on one side and their misery is when will my garland or how long will my garland stay fresh? Are you following? I don't know if this is the truth or not, but that is what is said. So all the happiness of Swarga ultimately is a wrapper around something that always occupies your mind and always gives trouble to your mind. Okay? Because kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa, that time is the biggest enemy for all happiness. Because if there is happiness today, in due course of time, it is guaranteed what will happen? That it will, if today is summer, guaranteed winter is going to arrive. So this kalena, by its very essence, is pointing to temporary nature. Temporary nature. Whereas with Krishna Bhakti, the answer is permanent. So that is why Varnashram is at a lower level than Krishna Bhakti. Okay? So this is the problem with Varnashram. So Nārada Munī is telling Vyāsadeva, everything that you have described is at best giving temporary happiness to people. What about the permanent happiness? You have not strongly described that part. And that too through bhakti. Now through process of jnana or dhyana, you can go to spiritual world. But those processes are extremely hard. Those have been described. But again, they are also not the major portions of the Vedas. The major portions of the Vedas are karma kanda, which is the Varnashrama Dharma, or how to stay happy in the material world. Among the processes of getting moksha or liberation from material world, the easiest one, which is bhakti, has not been fully described. So that is the problem. Okay. So therefore you should describe the process of bhakti. Now, so 18th verse was describing the problem. Why Varnashram is at lower level. Are you following? This was being described, that there is anxiety. All the happiness is nothing but a wrapper. When you open the wrapper, inside there is misery or anxiety. Correct? Now, 19th verse is the opposite. Opposite. What does it mean if it is opposite? It means that if you do Krishna Bhakti, what is the benefit? Even if you fall down, isn't it? If you are successful in Varnashram, you will go to Swarga. Okay, temporary benefit. Thanks. Very nice. But if you do Krishna Bhakti and fall down, that was the point made earlier. And it was told that it is better. So why it is better? Why is Krishna Bhakti better even if one falls or is unsuccessful in it? That is the question. Why is it so good? The answer is provided in this verse. All right, are you following? So let us see the answer. Beautiful answer, very beautiful answer. So, 19th verse. Navai jano jatu kathanchana avrajena mukunda sevya anyavadanga samsritim smaran mukundangri upaguhanam punar vihatum ichena na rasagraho jana. Very beautiful verse, very beautiful verse. So try to, I will put it here, try to memorize. Okay. I have not memorized it myself, but I will also try to memorize. Very, very beautiful verse. So what is the answer? Let us see. Okay. That na vai jano jatu kathanchana avrajena, that a person, this jana, and this jana means a devotee, a bhakta. Okay. Jatu kathanchana avrajena, that he never undergoes at no time by any means. What happens to him? Mukunda sevya anyavad, that one never at any time gives up his seva of Mukunda. Even when he is unsuccessful, when he is declared a failure, let us say, like Bharat Maharaj became a deer, okay, in the body of deer, one never forgets the seva of Mukunda. Now, in some fallen body, you can say, I cannot do seva. As a deer, what seva can you do? What seva can you do as a deer? So the answer is given here, that unlike others who are in samsara, what he can do, smarana mukunda angri. Angri means feet. He can at least remember the feet of the Lord. Smarana mukunda angri. That itself is seva. So even when you are unsuccessful, even when you are in a fallen state, one can definitely remember the joy that he got when he was doing bhakti. When he had tried or desired to take the shelter of the feet of the Lord, that remembrance will always stay with him. And that remembrance is what gives him the joy. One can remember that. So, smaran mukunda anghriya. Upaguhanam punar. Upaguhanam means that he remembers the sweet experience. Punar means again and again. Again and again, he is just relishing. Upaguhanam, that experience that he is relishing of Mukunda Angri, of the lotus feet of the Lord, simply by remembrance, by smaran. Why and how does this happen? This fourth line is giving the how. Vihatum ichen na rasagraho janaha. That rasagraha means that rasa that they have tasted, that sweet juice, that sweet nectar that they have tasted by this process of taking shelter of the Lord. Vihatum ichena, that has completely destroyed all other desires. They don't desire anything else. They just desire that only. So this is basically saying in so many words that even if one who has tried to perform serious bhakti, even if he was unsuccessful, that is fine. He still remembers the sweet experience that he had by taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. And that remembrance itself is enough for him. And it is so strong, that remembrance, that nothing can shake it. And this is how he sustains his life. And this is very true. If you read the story of Bharat Maharaj, during the life of the deer, in the Bhagavatam, it is said that he was a special deer. He was constantly remembering the Lord, even in the deer's body. And he would go and sit wherever the rishis and all, they were doing katha of the Lord. He would go sit there and listen to the katha of the Lord. So he was engaging in that process, even though he fell down. Similarly, Vritrasura, even though he fell down, became a Rakshas. And as a Rakshas, all his friends were Rakshasas. All his friends or whoever association was a Rakshasi, Asuri association, who was not talking about or thinking about Bhagavan, but Vritrasura was always absorbed in the thoughts of Bhagavan, even though he was in a fallen state. Okay, so that is what happens even if you fall down. So why is Krishna Bhakti better even if one falls down or is unsuccessful? Now you realize the answer is given here. Because that smaran continues. That smaran can never be taken away by anyone. Even if in a fallen state, it's not taken away. Okay? Yes, Prasun Prabhu, there's a...
Yeah, Prabhuji, Prahlada Maharaj was also born in Asur clan.
Yes.
So was it a fall? Okay.
No, I don't recall the past that it was the result of a fall down.
Okay.
But when he was in the womb of his mother, so if you remember, all the devatas were very afraid of Hiranyakashipu. And when his Hiranyakaship's wife, Kayadu, got pregnant, they thought, oh my God, this fellow Hiranyakaship is such a big problem, even his son will be an even bigger problem. So we have to, even at least after Hiranyakaship dies, we want the problem to be over. We don't want this whole thing to continue by his son. So they wanted to kill the wife, just like Kamsa wanted to kill Devaki. Na rahegi maa, na aayega bachcha. So let's kill the mother, the child will not come. But then Nārada Munī saved the wife, and he knew because that he's a great devotee. He's not going to become a demon like Hiranyakashipu. And then he took his wife, Hiranyakaship's wife, to his ashram, took care of her because she was giving, having a great devotee in her womb. And he told the story of Srimad Bhagavatam to his wife. Prahlada Maharaj heard Srimad Bhagavatam while he was in the womb. And, he became a great devotee like that. So that is the story of the birth of, or the sort of the past history of Prahlada Maharaj. I don't know if there is a connection with any kind of a fall down from a previous life. Maybe it is there, but I don't know. Okay. All right, nice. So 20th verse. So again, so here then Nārada Munī is saying that the Supreme Lord is the Lord of the whole universe, and basically you need to glorify him fully. All this cosmic manifestation, everything has come from the Supreme Lord. Let's make a little more progress. Let's see from where it is. 23. Okay, so 23, Nārada Munī starts his story. So let's try to complete till 21 at least. 22. Okay, so 22. No, 21. So this is the final instruction. Last two verses, 21 and 22, are the final instructions by Nārada Munī. to Vyāsadeva. So, what does he say? Tvam atmana atmanam avyeha amoghadrik parasya pumsaha paramatmanah kalam ajam prajatam jagatah shivayatan mahanubha avabhyudayo adhiganyatam. So what it means is that Nārada Munī is saying in the first line, please realize that who you are. Tvam atmana, please introspect and realize your greatness, how great you are. And what he's saying, avehya amoghadrik, look in your heart and you will see your amoghadrik. Amoghadrik means you have a supreme or a great vision in your heart. So if you look in your heart, you will see you have great vision. All the pastimes, all the lilas of the Lord will be revealed to you in your heart. You are such a great person. What is the greatness that you have? In the second line, it is said, Parasya Pumshaha, or Parasya Pumsaha. Pumsha means person. Parasya means the greatest. Parasya Pumshaha Paramatmanah Kalam. Paramatmana means the Supreme Lord. Kala. Kala means a avatar. In a simple sense, there is that verse, right, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Ete cha amsha kala pumsha Krishna stu Bhagavana swayam. Remember that famous verse? So, amsha and kala are the avatars, that all these previously that have been described are the amshas and kalas, but Krishna stu Bhagavana swayam, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So there the word kala and amsha has been used. That same kala is being used here, that you are a kala of the Supreme Person, which means you are a avatar, you are an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. You don't know who you are. Just like, when Hanumanji was going to jump across the Indian Ocean, to Lanka, he didn't believe that he could jump. Others had to remind him, remember who you are. You had jumped all the way to the sun, thinking that it is a fruit. And now you have forgotten who you are. So you can easily jump. Similarly, Nārada Munī is trying to remind Vyāsadeva that please realize how much great capacity you have and utilize that capacity. And the third line is saying that Ajam Prajatam Jagatah Shivayatan. Shiva means the well-being, for the welfare, for the auspiciousness of the whole Jagat. You have appeared for doing the best thing for the whole world. And the best thing for the whole world is to tell them about the glories of Sri Krishna. So therefore, Mahanubha means the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Avabhyudayo adhiganyatam, that describe his pastimes, his lilas in great detail, all the little aspects, please describe. So the last line is saying, please describe in great detail all the pastimes, all the lilas of Sri Krishna. So here I will just put Sri Krishna is Mahanubha. That is what it means. Abhyudayaha means the pastimes, the lilas, this one. And Adhiganyatam. Adhiganyatam means in great detail. That is the meaning of each word. So in great detail, please describe all the lilas of Sri Krishna. Okay. Last one for today, 22.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Can you explain number 20 also?
Kya bola aapne? What did you say?
Number 20.
20, again, for lack of time, I'm just
Okay.
over. But it is basically describing the Aishwarya of the Lord. So again, it is not the sweetness, but the greatness of the Lord is being described. So the notes that I have written, the greatness of Lord Shri Krishna is described from, in general. Now there are many, many things. So this is not, don't take it as a very, there will be many exceptions. But the greatness of Lord Krishna is described in cantos 1 to 9. And the sweetness of Lord Krishna is described in canto 10. Okay. So that is what it means. The greatness of who is. So tomorrow in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu class, we will touch upon this part as well. Okay. So what he's saying is that you know the greatness of the Lord and you know the sweetness of the Lord both. Please do justice to describing all the lilas of the Lord. Is that good, Mataji? Are you satisfied with
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Then last one, 22. That here it is said that all the various activities, idam hi pumshas tapasah shrutasya va swishtasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayoh. So pumsah, for all the people, tapasah shrutasya va. So there is, by doing the process of tapa, by the process of hearing, shvitasya means by the process of yagya or sacrifice, and suktasya by the process of inquiry into the Vedas, the intellectual inquiry, that you can say this is the process of jnana. Cha buddhi dattayoh, by your employing your intelligence, and then dattayo means by the process of charity. This is your process of karma yoga. Okay. So what the Kavibhir Nirupito, what they have concluded, that the essence or the culmination is what? That the avichyuto artha. So avichyuto artha means that the final sort of the essence, you can say, or the culmination of them is what? Yad uttama shloka gunarnu varnanam. That by guna arnu varnanam, by describing all the gunas, the lilas of Yad. Yad means Shri Krishna. So the essence of all these activities of tapa, jnana, karma, etc., etc., the essence of all those activities is Shri Krishna's Lila, Guna, etc., by Uttama Shloka, by in the best, in the sweetest possible way to glorify Shri Krishna and his Lilas, his Guna, his Naam, etc., etc., etc. So please do this activity, what is told in the 4th line. Yad Uttama Shloka Guna Arnu Varnanam. So please do this, my dear Vyāsadeva. Okay. So that is the essence. So what all did we, some of the, let us see, main points that we covered in today's class. Let us do a quick review of some of the main points and then we can end. Okay. Okay, main points today. It's always good to do revision. Any order, no specific order. And even if we can list 5 or 8 points, that is nice. So main points today. Come on, please.
Varnashrama is the lower one.
Sorry, say that again.
Varnashrama is the lower one.
Yes.
Bhakti is the highest one.
Varnashrama is lower than Krishna Bhakti.
Krishna Bhakti.
Okay, somebody else? Why? Why is it lower? That was another thing we learned. Main, we can say instead of points, we can say main learnings.
Temporary versus permanent.
Raise your hand, maybe that will make it better. So why?
Temporary versus permanent.
Okay, because Varnashram gives temporary and this gives permanent. Okay, something else? Someone else?
We can attain Krishna.
Say that again, Prabhuji.
We can attain Krishna.
Okay, so the permanent is to attain Krishna. Mam upaishyasi. Temporary means attain, let us say, Swarga.
Okay.
Okay, very nice. Something else? Damlila Mataji, do you?
Yes, Prabhuji. So even if we fall down in bhakti, that smaran of Bhagwan will always be there.
Yes, very nice. So we can say the state of fallen bhakta is also very sweet. Right? Why? Because he is absorbed in smaran of Lord. He may not be with the Lord. Like we said, attain Krishna. That may not have happened, but he is absorbed in the thoughts. So he is still very happy. He is still satisfied. Yes. Arora Prabhu? Arora?
Prabhuji, what I wanted to say was that Krishna Bhakti is direct path, whereas Varnashram is indirect.
Okay. Well, I would say Varnashram is not even a path to Krishna.
Yeah, it is not even a path. Only the Brahmins in the Varnashram are doing, I don't know, bhakti or rituals.
No, they are doing so. When you take the process of the main activity of a Brahmana is for studying the Vedas so that they can advise the other three social orders, the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, as to what to do, how to do Varnashrama properly and so on. So, yes, Brahmanas can do bhakti, but then they are moving into the bhakti side. But what the usual sense of Varnashrama is that they are simply advising the remaining social orders of how to do their karma kanda, what it is called, fruitive activities in the proper way. And that may include worship of Devis and Devatas. I don't know if you have done the Bhagavad Gita course, but or read the Bhagavad Gita, but it is clearly mentioned that, the worship of the Devis and Devatas, the kind of results that one gets are temporary. And that is also what the Brahmanas could be engaged in advising them or performing the rituals on their behalf. These rituals for Devis and Devatas can be performed by somebody else. Bhakti, you cannot pay someone else to perform. Okay? The various samskaras, what it is called, the various, okay, let's say you are doing marriage ceremony. Okay, so, you invite the various Devis and Devatas who will bless you, the husband and wife, that they have a happy life. Somebody else is doing that invocation for you and you pay them to do it. So by paying someone, it is possible to do karma kanda. By paying someone, it is not possible to do bhakti. So that whole thing is done by the Brahmin class. Anyway, someone else?
Perfect.
Anybody else? Anything else we learned today?
Leftover bhakti will be carried forward to the subsequent janmas.
Yeah, okay, very nice. So that's a sub point here, that bhakti progress is never lost. Okay, what else? Another, let's say 2 more points and then we'll conclude.
Prabhuji, the lilas cannot be like mental concoction. The acharyas have to be like in transcendental mode to come up with it. We cannot. I cannot just write a book on it.
Yes, exactly correct. So through smarana in samadhi, So that is how the lilas are revealed in the heart of the devotees. Then what else? I'm going through my notes to see that.
People are going to disservice by glorifying. People will think that that's the main thing about whatever we are looking for.
Yeah, so my wife is pointing out that Nārada Munī will think that, or Nārada Munī is saying that people will take your word to be very final. So if you have not glorified Krishna Bhakti, then people will not believe, even if somebody else comes and says that Krishna Bhakti is the topmost. So you please do it. The onus is on you, because the future generations will trust you because of your position. Yes. Okay, very nice. Shalu Mataji, you raised your hand, or?
Yeah, I was trying to say the same thing, that Vyāsadeva has to establish for the whole society to perform bhakti.
Okay, good. So we will stop here. Any other final comments, questions before we conclude? Okay, so tomorrow we will meet again for those that can make it for Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Slight change in time, we will do it at 5 p.m. Pacific time instead of 6. We will send a message on the group, but it will be at 5 o'clock Pacific time. We announced it already as 6 p.m., but we are preponing by 1 hour. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Oh my God, Kiran. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Radhe Govinda.
Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe.